account form, then a alert should be displayed with this account name. Okay, this should be alerted in a pop-up window. How to do that in JavaScript, right? Now for that, what we have to do, we have to read the account name value in JavaScript, right? And we will write a script to alert that value in a pop-up. These are the steps that we have to write in JavaScript. Now write down a function in JavaScript. If you have, you want to brush up your JavaScript knowledge, I will suggest W3 School's JavaScript course, which has been designed for beginners, and follow that. Function alert account name. Simple method, right? And I will take a parameter in this function as a execution context. Right. Now this is how we can pass parameters in a JavaScript. This is called a JavaScript method. This is the syntax to define a function in JavaScript. So function, then function name, then in a bracket we have to pass the parameter. If you want to pass multiple parameter, you can just give a comma and give your parameters. Okay, but for now I just want one parameter here. So while deciding parameters, it is not required to mention the data type here, right? Normally in .NET, we normally represent a parameter with a data type. But in JavaScript, we do not specify any data type, right? Now, this parameter will be passed. This parameter value will be passed from Dynamics 365, okay? Now, I will show you how to do that. But first, I will use this parameter to do some logic. I will take a variable form context. I can write anything here. Okay, I can write my name also here as a variable name. But for best practices, give a name of the variable which is well identified. So as I want to retrieve the form context object from this execution context parameter, that's why I will give a identified name called as form context. And var is used for data type, for dynamic data type in JavaScript, right? I could have used this. I could have used right, the data types in JavaScript is integer, right? Okay, so leave it. In JavaScript, we normally do var to declare a dynamic variable, so that dynamic data type, so that whatever value that has been assigned to this object, that will be identified in runtime. Okay, let's say you want to assign 1 to this object. That means in runtime, the JavaScript interpreter or debug, I mean the runtime engine will understand this object as a integer. If you assign a text, then in runtime, the variable form context will hold a string type. So not necessarily we have to identify the variable or data type as a specified data type as int, float, big int, like that. So normally we do var as a dynamic data type. So what the value I will assign? I will assign this execution context dot get form context. Now you can ask me from where I get this method. This is the method which is already given by Microsoft. Whenever I will catch this parameter, then I can use this method for this execution context to get the form context. This is the parent object by which I can do anything for that specific form where this method has been defined, right? That's why I have shown you this image. This is the root object called as form context. So using this execution context dot get form context, I can assign the root object to form context variable. Now I can use this data UI. These are all the syntaxes that performs different functions in different scenarios. I will show some examples. Let's say using this form context, I want to read the account name, right? Because the function says that alert account name. Now the next line is in JavaScript, you can give a comment by / read account name value. So this is my comment line. Here you can give a comment read object for form context, right? Now the next line, I will read the value of the account name. Now same way, I will take a variable called as, let's say, account name. Now using this form context object, I will get all the fields that are displaying on the form. Okay, whatever data that is displaying here in this account form, I can read using this form context, and the method is get attribute. And inside that get attribute, I will specify what is the logical name of the field. Now logical name means the database name of the field. How to get the logical name of a field? Let's say I want to use this account name's logical field, logical name. Then how to do that? How to get that? Go to solutions, go to these fields, then search for the account name field. In the display name, you can search the, so this is the display name, right? If you go here, so this is the display name called as account name. Now using this display name, I will sort the specific field in the list. Now let me sort it by display name. This is the account name, right? Now I'll just double click, or here you can find the first column holds the logical name of all attributes or fields. So the name is, see the logical name for this account name is NAME, name in small. Okay. Or if you don't find this name in the first column, then you can just double click to see the details. You go to this, you can see here. This is the database name of this column or the attribute. So copy this and go to your code and use this here. If you use display name here, your script will not work. If you use schema name, it will also not work, right? So you have to use this logical name, mind it. Now, once I have given the syntax, now I have to use get value. This is the method by which I can get a specific field's value and assign to a variable called as account name, right? Now, next purpose is to display account name in a pop-up window, right? Now, for pop-up window in JavaScript, we have a syntax called as alert. This alert is not related to dynamics. This is just a generic JavaScript function which displays some message in a pop-up window. Now, which takes a parameter with a string that will be displayed. So I want to display this account name. And I don't want to display the account name alone. Rather, I want to add some static text with this dynamic parameter, like welcome. Then after space, it will show this account name, right? Now let me save this script. Account underscore form script, right? I will save it. Now I have created a simple alert account name method. I passed execution context as a parameter, used the get form context of this execution context parameter to get the form context object. I have used the account name variable to get the name of this, the value of this account name of the account entity, and I am alerting the account name. Now, once you have created this JavaScript, we will integrate this JavaScript with Dynamics 365 platform. Now, what to do for that? You have to go to Dynamics, Solution. Okay, now open your solution, go to forms and open the main form. I have already opened this one. Now here you will just click this form properties, because I want to associate this JavaScript on form on load event. So I will just first follow this form library. In this form library, I will add my JavaScript file. So my JavaScript file is stored in this desktop. So this is the file that I have just saved. Now I'll go here and click on this add. Okay. Now I will search my JavaScript. My JavaScript is, okay, I have not yet associated this JavaScript as a web resource. So I cannot search the JavaScript here. That's why I will just create a new web resource, because every JavaScript file has to be uploaded as a web resource. So first step is create a JavaScript web resource and associate your JavaScript in that web resource. So I have just clicked new button to create a new JavaScript web resource. Okay, give a name, account JavaScript JS, account underscore JS. Display name, let's say account underscore JS. And here you have to choose web resource type as JavaScript. And here either you can just click on this text editor to edit the, you can just click text editor to edit the JavaScript in this window, Dynamics 365 window provider. Otherwise, you can just click on this choose file to upload your JavaScript. As I have already created a JavaScript file, so I'll just click this file and click open. Now it will automatically upload my JavaScript. Then I will just save and publish. If you want to check if the file methods are already submitted or not, you can just click on this text editor to see if your method is exist or not. You can see your method is copied here. Now I'll just click publish. Now you can just close this. Now this is the JavaScript web resource that we have just added. Now this is auto selected. Now I will just click on add. You can see in this library we have multiple JavaScripts already added, and my new JavaScript is also added here in this library. Now I can use all the methods that I have written in this JavaScript in event handlers. Now I will just collapse this form library. My form library work is done. Next I will go to event handler to associate the method with the event. First, we have to select which control you want to use. As my aim is to associate this method on form on load event, so I will just select form. Then in event, I will just select on load. You could have used on save also, but for now, my aim is to use on load event. Now you can see there are multiple events already associated for different purpose. Okay, I have not added these three functions to execute on form on load. These are added by Microsoft already for different purpose. But for now, I want to add another event handler for on load. For that, what I have to do, I'll just click add button here. And in the meantime, copy the name of this function. So this is the name of this function. I'll just copy this because this name will be required. Now here in the drop-down library, click on your JavaScript library. So like our JavaScript is account_js. Click on this, and in the function, give your name. This is the function name, right? Alert account name. Be sure you do not add any space here. So I have added. Now you have to click this checkbox, pass execution context as a first parameter, because we have taken a parameter called as execution context. That's why you have to click this. Otherwise, your code will not work. Now our association with the method, with the event is done. I'll just click OK. You can say the event handler is displaying here with enabled option as true. Now click OK. Now I will check how it works. Click on save. Once you save the form, you have to publish. Right, once published, you have to go here and try to refresh the window. Full refresh, do a full refresh of the window. Now open this. Once it is opened, the script should call. You can see here the script welcome adventure works. This script is coming from the JavaScript only that I have created here. So this is the method which is executing and alerting me this message. And this account name is dynamically retrieved from this form. Now you can see we have full control over this JavaScript method to do anything, right? So this JavaScript function opens up a new, wide range of scope to use JavaScript objects, functions, full JavaScript manipulation we can do in this function, right? Now, first we have learned how to get data from a form using JavaScript. Now, if you want to set data to another field using JavaScript, how to do that? Let's say on form load, I want to set this fax value something else. It is blank now. So what I have to do, I'll just give another line. Let's say set fax number is XYZ. Okay. So to do that, we have to use form context dot get attribute dot name. Sorry, without name, we have to use the logical name of that field, right? The logical name is fax. The logical name of this attribute is small fax. If you want to double check, you can go to your solution and check that field. And without get value, you have to use set value, right? Because we want to set a field value. Using the set value syntax, we can assign the value. And in get value, you do not take any parameter in the get value function, but in set value, you have to give the value that you want to assign to the field. And the value is XYZ. Now I'll just copy this again and go to the web resource because I want to update that web resource, right? I'll I'll go to the solution and click on the web resources and open the web resource that I want to update. Once you update your JavaScript, you have to update your web resource, otherwise it will not work. So this is my web resource, JavaScript web resource. I'll just double click. Okay, just click on this text editor. You can upload or you can just copy your function and paste it here. You just select and paste it here. Okay, and double check the line is added or not. You can click on this. Okay, same procedure. Okay, save, publish. Then we have to go to here and click refresh to check if it is working or not. Okay, now it is alerting me, welcome AdventureWorks. Once I'll click OK, the value for the facts is updated as XYZ. Can you see that? Now this is how we can get a form data, manipulate the data in JavaScript, set an existing value and existing field value according to our need. So we have full control over this function. Any doubt till now, guys? Okay.
All good, Sanjay.
Yeah. So
In real time, will this code get complex, or is it basic simple ones like this, or how is it?
in real time, the complexity is intermediate. I mean, we do not write complex JavaScripts because it decreases the performance of the form. Okay, because when
Okay.
you load a heavy JavaScript, then your performance gets decreased while user interacting with the form. That's why Microsoft always suggests that do not write heavy JavaScripts for a form. So we do not write any complex. Okay, simple things.
Not just for forms, but in general also, we don't write heavy code, is it?
We do not write heavy codes.
Okay.
Okay. For real world example, I can say if you want to validate, let's say there is a form here and you want to validate the phone number. If you want to validate this phone number to be 10 digit, then you can write a JavaScript to validate that. I will show that, okay, how to do that. So normally in JavaScript, we use field validations, okay. Otherwise, if you want to concatenate some different fields with some different static fields, then you can do that. We can validate websites, we can validate facts, emails, all that. Because business rule do not have any JavaScript concept to automatically configure field validations. That's why JavaScript is required. Okay. So today we'll discuss a simple concept of how we can integrate. Now we'll discuss more JavaScripts. Okay, before moving to the further on the form context object, I will just show you how to integrate this function in all events. I have included in onload only, right? Let me open that form for you, right? When you click this form context, form property, then we have used this onload event and this function we have used, right? Now, if I want to use in onSave with the same method, then what I have to do? I'll just click onSave and add that method. Okay, I'll just select that and click on that method. Same way, just we have selected the event as onSave, right? In onload, we have added this function, and in onSave, we have added this function. If you want to add another function, then you can just write down another function here and change the name as, let's say, onSave, and do whatever logic you want to do here. Then you can select specific function name here, right? Because I have told you a JavaScript can contain multiple methods. You can just specify the function name here using the same JavaScript file. So this is how we can associate different methods of a single JavaScript file or different methods of multiple JavaScript files for a event. Same way we can also associate field on change function. Okay, if you want to associate, then you can also click on this add. Then you can associate the same thing here. select your JavaScript file, mention your function name and click OK, right? Now this is how you can associate functions according to the event. So it depends on your business requirement what you want to do. In tab state change also, you can associate the same way. So we'll learn some more theories, then we'll do some more practicals to understand more. Let me restart the meeting, otherwise it will stop. It will not work for me, right? Let me copy this and paste it again, and to see if the error is throwing me or not. Just publish it. Once it is published, I will go here and to check if it is throwing error or not. Let me refresh. And surely it should throw me error because I've changed the name. Okay. It will not throw error. See, if it will not throw error immediately, it will show error in a later stage. You can see here one of the scripts for this record has caused an error. For more details, download the log file. In the log file, you can see it is saying cannot read property get value, right? Because the line having a syntax called as get value, so it is throwing a generic message called as cannot read property get value of null. That means this code snippet returns null, and it cannot read get value. It cannot use get value method for a null value. Either if you can understand this on the first stage, you can directly come here and specify n, and issue is resolved. If you want to dig more and your JavaScript line of code is more than 100 or 200, then you have to debug it. So how to debug it? For debugging purpose, we have to write a script here called as debugger. Okay. Write down the debugger line of code here and save your script, copy the function and update your JavaScript web resource, because I want to debug the line of codes in the function that I have written.
But currently there is no error there. Maybe we should introduce an error.
No, there was an error, right?
No, you removed it, I guess.
No, let me again show that error.
Yeah. You replaced MAME with NAME already.
But I have not updated.
Okay.
I have just changed in my JavaScript. But okay. Sorry, you are right. I should intentionally generate the error, right? I will just copy this.
Yeah.
Right. I got your point. So I will just go to here and update the script. So here is my error, and here is the debugger. I'll just click OK to update. And publish. When the form triggered me a pop-up window of script error, it doesn't say the line of code which throws the error. So debugging a JavaScript will give you opportunity to find out which line of code throws error. Now, once you publish this, we will go to the account script, account form, and click on F12. Okay. In your keyboard, we have F12 button. You press F12. Okay. F12 will display the debugger console of browser. Okay, because JavaScript is a client-side concept, so the script manipulations or interactions are managed by the browser itself. So here we have to. So once you clicked F12, now you try refreshing this form, because I have associated the event on form load. So again, I have to trigger that event so that the script will call. So I will just refresh this window. Being the F12 clicked, okay, because the input, the F12 debugger should be displayed in the right side. Otherwise, it will not be captured. Can you see now? here it is saying paused in debugger, and in your right side option, your JavaScript is displayed here, and the debugger hit here at the line of code where you have written debugger. Okay, now you can go one by one line of code which throws error. Click on F8 to go one by one line of code. Sorry, I clicked some wrong button, so that's why it is it is just went out of this debugger line of code. I will just again reload. Okay, now here it is. Now what I'll do, I'll just click debugger points, the line of codes that I want to investigate. Once you click that, when you click F5, it will directly come to your next line. Okay, now click F5. No, it is going outside. Let me, I think it is F10. I forgot for now. Let me refresh again. Let me expand this window once more. So we are in the debugger section here, this line, and I want to press F10. Okay. Now once I have clicked F10 button, then it is moving to the next line, right? Now again press F10. I am pressing F10. Okay. Now it is moved to here. And if you want to check any error, you can just slide this. Otherwise, in this console, your error will be displayed, okay, automatically. Till now, in this line, we have not triggered or not displayed any error. In this line, when I will click F10, then only the error will display. Now click F10. Till now, the error is not displayed yet. Click on F10 again. This is just executing the system scripts. Keep pressing the F10 because I want to go back to the script that triggered the system scripts. Till now, I have already understood that this line of code throws error. Because otherwise, the system scripts will not run, right? But still, I want to debug more. Keep pressing F10. I am pressing F10 only. So many system scripts are running behind. If you want to skip this system scripts debugging, then what I will do, I do not have any patience anymore. So what I have to do, I'll just click this play button to come out of the script. And here I'll just click this debugger point here. Okay. Let me again refresh. I don't want to go to system scripts. That's why. So this is our script. Now I'll press F10. See, when I'm pressing F10, it is moving directly to the next line of code. Whenever you find there is a system script navigation, then you can see that there is a error in that specific line. Otherwise, I can just click F5 to go out of this script. Let me click F5. Okay, so every time you refresh, the debugger is hitted because I have associated in onload. What I will do, there is some confusion here. Let me check the debugger. So every time, so it is not a good practice to write debugger in onload event. Otherwise, every time you load the page, it will trigger recurrently. So I will just change the script a bit. I'll just do this. I'll go here and I'll write the debugger here. And for now, I'll just click close and I'll just update the script again. So this is how we can update, debug the script by writing a debugger concept here. Okay. Let me again upload this and I can debug. Debugging script is a time consuming process, so it will take some time. Click OK. This error is throwing a message. Now click on this F12. Now here in the elements, you can just click on Control P. I want to search my JavaScript here. Using this Control P option, you can search your JavaScript web resource. My JavaScript name is account_farm_script. So I can just search here account, because all scripts that are loaded with this account form load will be listed here, and I want to search mine account form script, right? So this is the JavaScript. Now I will just give breakpoints here. Just clicking besides the line of code is nothing but adding breakpoints here. So the breakpoint will be displayed here. So in this line of codes, we have added breakpoints. Now try refreshing so that the debugger will hit for me. Now debugger will come to the line of code called as 7, right? Right. Now after, so the execution is in line number 6 for now. Now I will just click F10 to go next line. Again, go next line. Till now I am not having any error because successfully the execution is going line by line correctly. Now I will again click function F10. Once I have clicked function F10, now it is moving to a specific system script. Now I understood this is the line of code which throws error. Now as a developer, I will again go to my script and analyze the line of code. Account name. So here is the problem, right? So now you understand to identify which line of code throwing error by debugging this F10 concept. Any line of code that navigates your system script is throwing error. Okay. Now I will do one thing. I will just rectify this, and again using the debugger only, I will update the script, and let's see if it is throwing error or not, and if it is moving to the correct line of code or not. The point is it should not navigate to the system scripts. Now I will go here and update the web resource. Now I'll just refresh once. It will not throw any error, and it will not pause in the debugger also because I have not initiated F12 debugger option for script debugging. So to trigger the F12 debugging mode, what I have to do, I will just again click F12. Although the script is working fine for now, I want to just go through debugging mode. Then what I have to do, I'll just click F12 and click Control P to search my file. This is my file. I'll just give a breakpoint here. Now I'll just refresh. Although the script is working fine, I want to go line by line. For that, what I have to do? Yes, now it is loaded. Yes, now it is paused for me. Now I will try to press F10 and to see if it is moving to any system script or not due to some error. Click on this F10. It's moving next line correctly. It is moving next line correctly and is going outside, right? The alert is executed. Click OK. Now click F5 to go out of this window. You can just click or click this close button of this F12 debugger window to move your as usual screen. So this is how you can debug and identify which line of code actually throwing error and which is what will be the error. So as a developer, you have to understand this. If the name is incorrect or any logical operation, you can think of any mathematical calculation. Okay, you can also debug it. You can also use console.write logic. Console. In JavaScript, we have console.write. Using this line of code, we can also log any values for a dynamic calculated value in F12 console, right? Console is present here. Let me again press F12 to show you where is the console. If you click this console area, so this is the console area where all the log files are stored. If you have write any message here using this console.write, then in the course of execution of your line of code in JavaScript, the logs will be displayed here. Okay. Any code that you have written will be displayed here. Normally we do in JavaScript and .NET also. So any doubt in debugging? So can you debug your JavaScript if there is any error? Sharath?
Yeah, sure, I can do. But I have one more doubt. Usually we do all these kinds of JavaScript coding or whatever in a development or test environment. So how do we merge this with production environment?
Right. That is a good question. Okay. When we create a solution and in that solution, we add this JavaScript as a web resource, right?
Yeah.
So if this is the solution, we can add a JavaScript web resource here. Now I have to export this solution and move this solution to upstream environments and import in that environment. Then all my logics, all web resources, all event manipulations will be implemented in that environment also. Okay. So export import solution will work behind migrating your current environment solution to another environment solution.
But we have export solution here, but no import anywhere.
Import will not available here. If you go to the solution view, this is our all solution view. Here you will find a import operation. You can see here.
Yeah.
Using this import, this is all solution view. This view is a single solution view. That's why.
Okay.
And this solution is opened from this view only. This is the solution I have opened in another window. Okay. So, okay. So simple understanding we have done how to create JavaScript, how to associate a JavaScript in form events, and how to debug a JavaScript. And I will discuss some more methods that are exist in form context. Okay. And I will show in examples because theories are not sufficient for me at least. So let me validate a field for now. Okay. Let me go to here. Let me search a field. Let me go to contacts. Let me open this Sontalgrave user. And in this Sontalgrave user contact record, there is an email field, right? And here, let me give some random characters, which is not a valid format. And after giving this, I will just click save. Okay. So it is throwing me enter a valid email address. Can you tell me this enter a valid email address is coming from which source? Who validates this? I have not written any method to validate this. This field is validated automatically by the data type. Let me check for you. Okay. How this automatic validation happens. Let me go here and add existing entity called as contact. Dynamics 365 provides different types of data type and formats by which we can validate in the design time, so that no script is required to associate further. Let me check the email ID field and its structure, how this has been created. Because the email field is automatically validated to validate if the value provided is a correct format of email or not. So we'll see how it is designed. Just taking time, guys. So in the meantime, it loads. I will just copy something from internet. Validate email ID in JavaScript. Okay. You can search some script that will validate your JavaScript. Right. JavaScript code to validate email ID. So this is a script, JavaScript, that actually validates if you have entered a specific, if you have entered correct email address or not. I want to integrate this function in Dynamics 365. How to do that? Okay, I will show you. But before that, let me check. Why it is taking more time there? Okay. Click on these entities. I want to add contact entity in this solution. Just select the entity, click OK. I will go to fields and I just search the email ID field. So this one. I just want to check these properties of this email attribute. Can you see here, if I go down, the format is selected as email. This is the section format option which actually auto validates a email field value. So I will not write any custom code to validate a email field. If you automatically select format as a email, the Dynamics 365 will automatically validate that field as a email format. So always think these formats, data types, and field types while designing the attributes for a specific entity. But if this field is simple field, there is no format has been selected, then how to do that? Okay. Let me select this website. Okay. Let me write something else. I'll go here and give a random value. Is there any website information? Okay, go to account and let me check that. Okay, let me. Okay, this is already validated as a website. I can validate this website, right? Because no website should be there without a .com, right? Let's say the website field must contain a website format like .com at last. Then what? How to validate that? This field takes any random number, random value, and it is allow me to save the value. But I don't want this type of format. I want .com must be there. So how to do that? Let me search a JavaScript regular expression to validate a website. Website format validation. I don't remember these things actually in JavaScript regular expression. Website format validation in JavaScript. I will just copy JavaScript and use in my Dynamics. That's it. Sorry, web address. Right, search URL. How to validate URL using expression? Just click that. So this is the regular expression. You have to search a better JavaScript code to validate URL. Check if JavaScript string is a URL. If you are pro in a regular expression, then you do not need to search here, because I am not pro in regular expressions in JavaScript, so I am searching for that. Valid URL. Okay, just copy this. And use in my JavaScript. I have just copied this function here, and I'll just take a function here, validate URL, and I'll just write a variable to read the website. So I have to understand what is the logical name of this field. And for that, I have to go to solution and go to accounts or fields. The next thing is website. Just short this display name. This one, right? So website URL. Now I'll go here and write down website URL. Now I can call this method, so that the method that I have copied will check if the string that I have passed here is a valid URL or not. So I'll take another variable, let's say flag, and it will call this method. Then I will check. So what it will return? It will return true or false. Okay. This method that I have copied will check the pattern of the website, and it will return true or false. So if flag equal to true, or flag equal to 1, then alert valid URL. I'm just showing you an example how to associate a validate concept. Else invalid URL. I'll just copy this and paste in the web resource. I'll update the same web resource. Then save and publish. Then we have to associate the method in the function, right? Just double click this website. I want to associate in website field on change event, right? In the meantime, just copy this function I have just copied. I have just created validate URL. Events. Then I have to create add. Okay, it's already time over. Let's see. Okay, we'll see how it works in next class again. Click on this. Okay, in the meantime, they join. Let's start some of the concepts that we have already discussed last time. So last time we have discussed JavaScript, right? How to write JavaScripts, the client side customization for a form level, right? So we have used. Let me open that script that we have used. File. That one. Right. So some of the scripts we have written. Let me copy from the solution itself because I lost from my local machine. Go to web resources. We have written account JavaScript, right? This one, account underscore JS. Now, in the meantime, it opens. I can say you that Microsoft has enough resources, enough reference materials that you can go through for client script. There are many, hundreds of JavaScript syntax that can be used. For example, you can see set visible, right? On context, get control. Then inside that, you have to specify the attribute. Then using set visible, you can hide a specific field on the form. You can just pass false to hide, and if you can pass true to display that field on a form, right? So this syntax is used to set the visibility. Some other functions is also there, right? Set disabled, right? Now it is not worthy to discuss all of these options because the point you have to understand is how to integrate JavaScripts in form level. That's it. And syntax is already available that you can just use, nothing else. This is a syntax to disable a field, not hide, just disable, enable disable concept. So you can use that. And set src, there is a function which is used to assign a iframe URL, right? We use iframes in a form. Using iframe, we can include other websites in that iframe control. So if you want to dynamically associate any website into that iframe, then you can use this syntax. On context, get control, inside get control, you can pass the attribute or control ID of the iframe. Then using set src, I can specify the website for this iframe, right? And another is set notification. I'll give some examples of set notification, right? When you open a Dynamics 365, then you have seen some of the notifications are coming in yellow bar here, right? We have seen how alert works, JavaScript alert works, but Microsoft has provided some notification which is not type of alert. The alert or the notification or the message will be displayed on the command bar. Okay. Now let's see how this JavaScript can be written for set notification. You can also find that set notification here, right? If you go to form context UI, you can find the method called as set notification, form notification, right? All methods are here. You have to just use, but you have to understand how to use it. The important is how to use, not what to use. So form context UI, set form notification, message, label, unique ID. These three parameters are required to use this function, set form notification. First parameter is message, that the message you want to show, and this label stands for which type of message you want to show. Is it a error, or is it a warning, or is it a information? Unique ID is required to identify a specific notification, so that if you want to clear the notification, then you can use that unique ID and use clear for notification, so that the notification will be disappear, right? Now I will show this as an example how it works. So let me create a function called as function show message. I pass execution context as a parameter. Same way, I have created another object called as form context, and I have assigned execution context get form context method to get that form context object using this variable. Now in the account level, in using this form context, I am reading name of this account record. So I have stored the account name in this variable, and using this syntax form context dot UI dot set form notification, I want to display this account name as a information, right? You can see there are three parameters here, 1, 2, 3. Now in this first parameter, I don't want to display just a static text. I want to display some static text and some dynamic text, like hello in space, then account name. This is my dynamic value. I will just concatenate here. Plus sign is used to concatenate two strings. Then second parameter, I have specified info, right? Now I just want, and third parameter is the unique identifier to identify a specific notification. This notification will related to this unique identifier. You can take anything here, right? Just a a unique ID that you want to refer for future reference. Let's say ID1. Let me take this. Now, if you want to display as a warning, then you can just change the second parameter as warning and change the ID as ID2, because you can only specify as a unique ID for a unique message, right? Now, let me change this dear. I'll take another. Hi. So I just want to see how this informations or notifications look like. And in the second parameter, I will change as error, and I will take the ID as 3. Now I will copy this message, copy this function, and update the JavaScript web resource. This is our JavaScript web resource. I'll just go here and I will go to the section and add my script here, right? So message. I'll just copy this name and click OK. I just want to add another function in the JavaScript web resource, and I want to call on form load. Just save and publish. Then I'll go to the account form. Sorry. Then I'll go to the solution and go to the account form and associate the function that I have written now. I just open the main form. Okay. So here I will just click on this form properties, and in on load, I will just add another. I will just disable the previous function because I don't want that alert function. If you want to disable an existing event handler, you can just come here and click on this enable checkbox so that you can disable that function. This event will not occur again because it is the enabled flag is false. Now I want to add another function on my form load event. Now I will select the library, then I will select the function. So this is my function, so message. For double check, go here and copy this function and go down and paste here. Pass the execution context as a first parameter and click OK. Now save and publish. Now, if you got the idea how these event handlers are attached, how to get set values, then it is easy to work with JavaScripts. Okay. Now, once published, let me refresh the account screen. Let me open a specific account. I have not refreshed the whole screen. That's why the function is not working fine. I have refreshed completely. When you do any JavaScript changes, you have to completely refresh your browser. Now the alert should not come, and this notification should come. Can you see here? Let me click this section. There are 3 notifications. One is hello account number, which is a information type. The icon decides which type of this message. And dear account, this is a warning message. And hi account number, this is a error message. Now the icon defines what type of message. You got it? Now, according to your need, according to your business need, you can configure this type of for notifications for users, so that users will follow the right way of providing data for a specific field, right? For example, let's say someone is giving 9-digit as a phone number, which should be 10-digit. Then you can give a notification here on the on change event of this phone number to display that you have provided wrong phone number, right? So that way we can specify these notifications. Now, how to clear these notifications? Because if these notifications are displaying, then although you can change the values, the notification will remain persistent. This notification will not go out until unless you call a function called as clear notification, right? Now, clear notification as a syntax, you can come here and check the syntax. I always recommend do not type JavaScript syntaxes, because if you miss a single character as a capital or small letter, then it will not work. So just copy this or copy the entire code, go here and paste here. Now in the unique ID we can pass the ID here. Okay, you can specify all IDs because I want to clear all, so we have to mention everything. Now, clearing the for notifications at this section after this notification, it has no meaning, because when you load the page, it will display and clear, right? Now, when this is used, when you have any other logic, right? Let's say you want to clear already the notification are displaying here. When you change some value, you want to clear, then you have to write another function and call that clear notification, right? Let me give another function here. Clear all notification then inside that I will pass extension context and I will call this, right? Now again I have to take the form context object. Now again I will update this function. I'll take this function and update the web resource. I'll just come here and update this function. I'll just copy this function name once, but I want to call this function from a field on change. So I have to copy that and publish. Then I will go to the form again and associate the let me associate that function again against this phone number change. Okay, now when someone changes the phone number, the notification should go out. I'll go to the events and on change event is there. I will just disable the existing event if I have done anything. Then I can create. You can keep also multiple event handlers, right? You should not, you are not always make the existing event handlers enabled false. But for now, I want to just enable false. Then I can click add button to add my new JavaScript. The function is clear all not. Click on pass execution context as first parameter. Click OK. Save, then publish. Right, let me refresh the screen. I want to full refresh. Let the form loads completely. Now you can see all notifications are displaying here, but let me go to the phone number and change some value here, because I have written to clear the notifications, right? These notifications. Now I'll come here and try to change something. Can you see the notification disappeared? Now this type of clear notification with unique IDs, I can refer to clear a specific notifications. And I can also use, set disable, set visible, the functions that we always used in business rules that we can do in JavaScript, right? So practice this kind of JavaScripts. You can refer this portal, Microsoft portal, to identify all syntaxes available, and you can use it, right? So any doubt on attaching these events and working on these events, Sarath, till now?
Fine. Yeah, the code is also simple to understand. Yeah.
Simple to understand, yes. So you have to differ. There are variety of codes here. So you do not need to remember also anything, right?
Yeah.
Because
Okay.
you have to just copy from this. Okay. Okay.